Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And welcome to Keep Her Quick, your latest local news and weather commercial free in about 21 minutes or less. We're going to jump right over to the weather here because, Jefferson, I did some math this morning. Some 163,000 acres are burning in the state from the 12 largest fires currently in Washington. What we're waiting on is that season-ending rain and a little bit of those cooling temperatures to help out. We have some of that in our forecast, but is it enough to kind of put an end to fire season?
Yeah, we are going to be looking at certainly some rain in our forecast area over the next couple of days. An end to fire season, probably not, but it is certainly going to be a very good start to not only end fire season, but also start to tamp down some of these wildfires. Now, what I will say is that to your number, just over 160,000 acres of land burned this year, that's very tame compared to years prior. Even last year in the state of Washington, just over 300,000 acres of land burned. So even though 160,000 acres sounds like a pretty big number, I think we can all be grateful that it was not as bad as last year. Now, as we take a look at the weather headlines, these are just kind of overarching headlines for the entire week. We're going to face cooler temperatures this week than we have in weeks or days prior. Rain opportunities are going to be numerous as we head throughout this work week, but then by the time we get to Friday, we are going to be looking at some widespread sunshine. We'll talk more about these three weather headlines coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning in Yakima County. Fire crews are still working to contain the wildcat fire burning near Bumping Lake. The blaze has scorched more than 11,000 acres since it started on August 25th and is just 8% contained. Officials say it was sparked by lightning 6 weeks ago, and crews are focused on protecting homes around the Goose Prairie and clearing fuels along Bumping River Road. Level 2 Get Set evacuation orders remain in place for those areas. Closures are also still in effect for parts of the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest and Mount Rainier National Park and a section of the Pacific Crest Trail. A Toppenish man was sentenced for his role in a fatal motorcycle accident in October of 2021. 31-year-old David Lee Irvin was speeding south through the center turn lane on South Fair Avenue and hit 58-year-old Timmy DeWitt at East Maple Avenue intersection, killing him. Police say that Irvin passed field sobriety tests and showed no signs of intoxication. Irvin pleaded guilty in June to vehicular homicide and was sentenced on Wednesday to 18 months in prison, 6 months on electronic home monitoring, and a year on supervised release. A bizarre scene in Kennewick yesterday as officers responded to reports of a truck driving into an irrigation canal on West 19th Avenue. When police arrived in the morning, they found the pickup truck fully in the water with the driver still inside. After an investigation, that man was arrested on suspicion of DUI. Police are reminding everyone to stay safe, stick to the roads, and if you've been drinking, find a sober ride. A Cleella man has pleaded not guilty to criminal trespassing charges on his neighbor's property. The man is being accused of scattering hundreds of nails and screws on the parking lot of Motor Toys in Cleella. The next day, the owner found that many work vehicles had flat tires, including some that have been contracted to help fight wildfires. The man will be on trial for charges of trespassing on December 14th. And Pasco police are hoping you recognize a suspect in a stolen phone incident at the airport. Take a look at the picture they posted on Facebook. They say on September 15th, a cell phone was found by an airport employee, and the woman in this picture claimed it was hers and took it, but police say the phone was not hers. If you recognize this woman, contact Pasco police via their non-emergency line. A man who got himself trapped on Nelson Island in the Columbia River in Richland is now safe after being rescued by Benton County Sheriff's deputies and the dive rescue team. This is a picture of the man after the rescue Thursday night that deputies posted. The Benton County Sheriff's deputies say the man had waded across to the island earlier in the day, but no longer felt safe going back the same way because of rising water levels. With the help of the dive rescue team, he was taken safely back to shore and then to the hospital. Now, bids have come in for Kittitas County's proposed search and rescue unit, and the amount exceeds the county's early estimate by more than $450,000. The early estimate for construction on the building ranged from $1.7 million to $2.5 million. County officials met on Tuesday to discuss the project's future plans, with conversations centered around funding sources and a shortfall that must be resolved before a bid can be approved. The project expenses are now estimated at nearly $3.7 million. And after the closing of Mercado Los Amigos last week in the wake of investigations for E. coli cases linked to the store in Yakima, residents have questions about unauthorized food trucks in the area and the lack of sanitation at those establishments. KIMA's Aiden Connor spoke with the Yakima Health District on what they're doing to monitor these food vendors.
Stephanie Ruiz with the Yakima Health District says that the district has seen an increase in unpermitted food vending.
So over the last several months, the Yakima Health District has observed an increase in unpermitted food being sold. And with these unpermitted food vendors, they don't have the required permits or food worker cards needed to operate a food establishment. And then sometimes they do lack the proper equipment to keep food at safe temperatures and maintain the adequate sanitation during the preparation and service of the food.
Ruiz highlights the importance of licensing when it comes to food distribution.
So education has always been a key part of our approach. At the Yakima Health District, we provide regular information and guidance to the food vendors on how to meet those permitting requirements, how to obtain those food worker cards, and ensure that the food is prepared and served safely. So we're always there to try to connect those vendors with those resources to try to make the process easier for them as well as accessible, and overall to protect the public from foodborne illnesses, but also to support those food vendors to operate safely and also successfully.
Closing of Mercado Los Amigos last week brought the issue of food sanitation to the forefront, and the district hopes that the efforts towards helping Mercado Los Amigos can translate to unauthorized food vendors.
With that recent E. coli cases linked to Mercado Los Amigos, it highlights the importance of food safety and for all of our community. So we were able to work closely with Mercado Los Amigos to quickly identify and address any potential risks, including reviewing food handling practices. But overall, the goal is to help them operate safely and prevent foodborne illnesses, as well as with all these other vendors too.
The Yakima Health District will continue to work with food vendors on authorization and education on food safety. Reporting for Action News, I'm Aiden Connor.
KIMA's Aiden Connor, thank you. And Ruiz urges the public to make sure that a vendor is licensed before purchasing food from them. State officials are seeking public input on a petroleum contamination cleanup plan at the former DeBox Texaco site in Grandview. The property has a history of leaks and spills dating back to 1920. Contamination was first reported in 1995 with testing confirming petroleum in both soil and groundwater. Officials say that the work is an interim measure until a cleanup plan is finalized. The Washington Department of Ecology is taking comments through October 10th on plans to remove any contamination from the site. And musicians, magicians, and even tarot card readers lined the streets of Ellensburg on Saturday for the annual Buskers in the Burg. KIMA's John Franklin shows us how the community celebrated over the weekend.
Buskers in the Burg is a really special event in the Valley. As you can see, it brings a ton of community members, young kiddos, art lovers, music lovers into the downtown core.
Usually the farmers market is the big thing to do on Saturday in Ellensburg, but today buskers are in the Burg and street performers are up and down the sidewalks.
I don't know that I have a favorite busker, but one thing that I do love about the event is that we have more than just like a acoustic single person playing guitar. So we have a tarot card reader, we have a magician, we've got a percussionist who just does a stellar job, we've got a theater arts performer, so there's just such a huge mix.
I'm a sucker for our percussionist, but then also Pierce Ruff. He's a junior busker. He was actually our winner last year, and he's just right across the street. That kid has got a really awesome set of pipes.
While street performers dazzle their audiences, there's plenty of activities for children and grown-ups.
So we've got various kids activities. We've got fishing for apples, corn sensory activities, different art stations, and then also we have a free putt-putt activity for the older kids and adults, just to have fun.
It celebrates performance art in the Valley, so we're really proud to see this event continue to build and grow.
For Action News, I'm John Franklin.
KIMA's John Franklin, thank you. And the event was hosted by the Downtown Ellensburg Association. Organizers say their next event will be the Wildcat Night Out on October 19th. And with that, let's jump right over to meteorologist Jefferson Donovan. Jefferson, October 19th is a couple of weeks away. Hopefully we'll start to see some more of the autumn-like kind of fixtures that we would expect this time of year.
Sure, yeah, and we're going to be off to a good start as we just enter autumn later this week. We are going to have the cooler temperatures. We are going to have rain around. Now, what lies ahead a couple weeks from now, who is to say? But I can say that at least for this week, the autumn-like vibes will be in full effect. As we take a look at the Doppler radar imagery, this is the radar as of this filming this morning, right around 7:30 or so, and you can see that rain that is moving over our forecast area, already starting to bring some precipitation to Yakima as well as Ellensburg. For Yakima and Ellensburg, as we go throughout the course of the day, there is going to be chances of showers that exist really all day long. The rest of our forecast area staying mainly dry until the evening hours, and we'll talk more about that with the Storm Tracker Futurecast in a moment. First, here's a look at daytime high temperatures you can expect for today. Mid to upper 70s for the Tri-Cities. I would look for mid to upper 70s in Sunnyside today, low to mid 70s in Yakima, upper 60s to low 70s in Ellensburg this afternoon, with mid to upper 70s for the Blue Mountain foothills. Everybody today will notice more clouds than sunshine, and there will be those chances of showers too. Now let's just take a look at our general temperatures for the next couple of days after today. Definitely a taste of fall will be in the air. Look for more clouds and sunshine on Tuesday. High temperatures are going to be in the 60s and 70s. And then as we go into Wednesday, most of us will be looking at temperatures in the 60s, maybe squeaking into the low 70s in the Tri-Cities. But again, with the potential for showers, the clouds, and these cooler temperatures, the fall-like vibes are definitely here. So let's just take a look at the Storm Tracker Futurecast as we go into this evening. That is when showers are going to become much more numerous around eastern Washington and northeast Oregon. Going into Tuesday afternoon, there is going to be a good chance of showers for the Blue Mountains and adjacent foothills as the rest of the region does stay primarily dry. By Tuesday evening, shower chances are going to become more widespread across the forecast area. Heading into Wednesday, we are going to be looking at numerous showers for the Kittitas and Yakima valleys, looking at a good chance of showers on Wednesday for the Blue Mountains and adjacent foothills as well. Just a slight chance of maybe some showers for the Columbia Basin, although the Columbia Basin will be staying mostly dry. And then by Thursday, still looking at a good chance of showers for the Blue Mountains and adjacent foothills, looking at a chance of showers for the Kittitas Valley as well as the Columbia Basin, as well as the Yakima Valley stay primarily dry. And then as we progress into Friday, we are all going to dry out and we will be looking at some sunshine. That sunshine still several days away though, and we'll talk more about that as we go throughout the week. But right now, I'm going to toss it back over to Dave.
Thanks, Jefferson. Yesterday was Gold Star Family Day. They're the loved ones of military service members who died while on active duty. KMA's John Franklin has been sharing their stories all month long and introduces us to Forest Lee Ramos, a Yakima Valley man who fought and died in Vietnam during the 1960s.
Forest Lee Ramos was raised in Wapato and is a proud graduate of their high school. He's often described as kind and gentle. In the 60s, he was drafted to fight in Vietnam and was killed in action on June 19th of 1967.
He was a very, very nice brother, very gentle. If you were cold, the girls in high school were cold, he'd take his sweater off to give to one of them. He was just that type of brother. His nickname was Teddy Bear, so that should tell you a lot.
Forrest was one of 9 siblings who were close with each other.
We all grew up together. We grew up without a mom, so we had that real close tightness. Brothers took care of sisters, and sisters took care of brother. And that's the way our home was.
Many people remember his smile that could brighten up a room.
He smiled all the time. I think that runs in our family, though. You know, it was just, we could get in a debate or something, and I'd chase him, and then I'd feel bad. But all he would do is turn around and smile.
One day he was sent a letter saying that his name was picked in the draft.
Well, he was drafted. After graduation, he moved to Venice, California with my older brother. He was working, then he got that draft notice. He came back to Wapato, and from here, he left. They all met at the train depot here in Yakima, and all the guys that had been drafted and enlisted, they were all put in that train. And
Forrest left for military training out of the train station in Yakima. The next time he saw his family was after his training was over, and he had a short leave before heading across the Pacific.
And he had lost weight, and I felt real bad because he wasn't overweight, but compared to us, 98 pounds compared to maybe he weighed 110 maybe, we considered that overweight. So when he came home and I saw how thin he was, I actually felt real bad. I wanted my little brother to weigh 110.
Forrest and his sister Linda kept in contact through the mail, and she knew just how much he wanted to come home.
He was always telling me in his letters that he could hardly wait until it was over with so he could come home. He sent me a picture, and that's a very touching picture. That picture he sent me, I don't know, it's a picture with 1,000 words. I mean, you could tell he didn't want to be there.
Then one day, the Ramos family was informed that Forrest was killed in action. His body came back to Wapato, but only 2 people saw his body before it was put to rest in the ground.
We didn't get to see my brother, just my older brother Paul and one of his close friends. They were the only ones that knew really what was in that coffin. I myself believe there was very little.
Forrest stays alive through memories and stories. He passed nearly 6 decades ago, but people still tell stories of his gentle manner and his warm smile.
It's hard. There's always something there to remind you of a deceased person, and like him, people always talk about him. Oh, I remember this, or I remember that,
Linda does not have a picture of Forrest hanging in her house, but many people in her family do.
Then I have another cousin. He said ever since he was small, this picture here, his grandma had it hanging in the living room, and he would tell his parents, I want to be like his son.
KIMA's John Franklin, thank you. And if you would like to see more stories from the families of brave soldiers from our region, you can find them up on our website, KIMATV.com. Switching gears this morning, we're heading over back to the Benton County because the Benton County and the Benton Franklin Fair Association have signed a new 5-year lease, keeping the Benton Franklin Fair and Rodeo running strong through 2030. The fair draws more than 120,000 people every year, supporting local businesses, nonprofits, and youth programs across the Tri-Cities. As part of the renewed partnership, some major upgrades will be underway at the fairgrounds. That includes a $12 million renovation of McDaniel Arena's grandstands, doubling the seating there from 3,000 to 6,000. Adding modern restrooms and improving access and safety. Officials say the upgrades will be ready by next year's event. The city of Richland has launched new websites for most of its major departments. You can take a look at the main city page. It officially went online Thursday. City leaders say the updated site features a modern design, improved navigation, and enhanced search options. The new domain for the main page is richlandwa.gov. However, if you bookmark the old page, it will still take you to the new domain. And finally, the Yakima Symphony Orchestra performed the opening concert over the weekend in their 2025-26 series, which this year is themed Let's Dance. The first concert was on Saturday night at the Capitol Theater in Yakima, and KMA's John Kennedy O'Connor went along to one of the rehearsals to learn more about the series from music director Lawrence Golan.
Well, I feel very privileged because I'm actually on the stage with Lawrence Golan for the Yakima Symphony Orchestra. They've actually just been rehearsing the first performance of the new season for this year, which is Tales from the Vienna Woods, and we just heard a little bit of it. Lawrence, it's a beautiful piece that I've heard so far. What can we expect from this season as well as from Saturday night?
Well, this season we are celebrating the 200th anniversary of the birth of Johann Strauss Jr., who was known as the Waltz King. And for that reason, dance is interspersed throughout the entire season. Our season is called Let's Dance. And each concert will include one piece by Johann Strauss. So for this concert, we'll be doing Tales from the Vienna Woods. And the rest of the concert is all based on the woods or nature or outdoors. So the next piece on the program is called the National Parks Suite by Jill Haley. And this is a brand new work that was inspired by her residencies in various national parks. She spent, the composer spent a month each in several different national parks, and each time she was inspired by the nature that was there and wrote a piece based on that national park, and then she put them together for this suite of national park inspired music. And then the feature piece on this program is the Beethoven Pastoral Symphony, his Symphony No. 6, which also was inspired by nature, walks out through the woods and by the brook. And in the fourth movement, an actual thunderstorm rolls through, and so the mood changes violently with thunder and lightning and everything. But then the storm passes, and the last movement, the sun comes out, and it's the most beautiful, serene music you'll ever hear.
It sounds wonderful, and I was very lucky, very privileged to hear some of the rehearsal tonight. We need to let you get back to it, because obviously the first performance is Saturday night.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to that. Lawrence, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, JKO, and thank you for watching this episode of Keeper Quick. For more local news and weather, you can head over to our websites. That's KIMA and KeeperTV.com, as well as our Facebook pages. But while you're here, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with our latest mini newscasts Monday through Friday. Have a terrific start to your work week, everybody.